Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. And yes, this is episode 200, August or September or October. What month is this? I don't even know. We made it to 200. Yeah. I just kind of, I'm done. It was September 16th. Is that right?
I think so.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
We made it to 200. I figured I should pull back the original opening from episode 1.
Aww.
That is that's I missed that one, the static. But yeah. Hey guys, welcome. How you doing?
How could we be better? We survived this long.
So right now we are about to enter syndication, aren't we? We're like gonna get royalty checks for our previous shows.
Well,
you know,
we're entering the phase where hopefully we'll actually be able to monetize.
Okay.
That's not really due to the number of episodes. It's just due to the we should probably start doing this right going forward. And I figured 201 is the perfect part to launch the actual podcast available from everywhere. Everywhere the podcasts are available. Hopefully reach out to some new people outside of our ecosystem. I figure if you can't get it right in 200 episodes, you're not gonna. So we may as well stop practicing, and this is just the show.
So this is what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
yes. The truth is, Clyde, the reason why this show exists is because this show is a release valve for you and your complaints on the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
As we all know, you are being surrounded by the people who love you and care for you and don't want your neighborhood to be either lit on fire or shot up with some type of expensive gun that you have. So we're here as a service. Please help us here at the VOD Squad. Make sure that Clyde's neighborhood stays safe.
The VOD Squad, a.k.a. the Clyde Support Group.
That's what started it. So we're still here.
And for those of you that don't know the backstory, I was tired of yelling at my radio, just angry because, like, listening to people that you respect completely gloss over important stuff, like comparing hardware or streaming platforms, but not even mentioning like one of the biggest ones, whether it be Google TV or Android TV at the time, or stuff like that. And it's like, seriously. And I figure, well, I stop looking like a lunatic screaming in my car. I can look like a lunatic actually screaming at real people. But I don't do much actual screaming. Otherwise, you guys probably still wouldn't still be here 4 years later.
There's some. It's okay. It's all right. We're here to support you. It's all good. I can remember back when I was listening to Cord Killers, and I heard the announcement that you were looking for some people to get on, and for us to do this kind of a thing. And I was thinking at the time, oh my goodness, I am so shut in. I don't like to talk to anybody. I feel I'm an introvert. I don't want to be I don't like being in front of people. This might be an interesting way for me to do that. And also I get to be, talk about something I enjoy. So thank you, Clyde. I appreciate it for the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember that too, Matt, when I was watching that episode of Cord Killers, they were reading Clyde's email. I think Clyde sent an email in, and yeah, he was reading it, and I was like, yeah, maybe that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll email this guy and say, yeah, I'm in. I'll help him do the podcast, or at least just be on the show, right? And here we are, 200 episodes later. I mean, did you guys ever think we'd make it to 200? I didn't, not really.
I thought a year.
I remember hearing that, and I thought, my internet dreams have come true. Stardom and fame are inevitable at this point. The empire that is Michael, YouTuber extraordinaire, is about to begin.
Oh boy!
And it has fulfilled every one of my highest dreams and fantasies.
Aww.
It couldn't have been better. No, I was really, I got to say, I was really excited when the call came out, and it really has been what I hoped for, which was an opportunity, because I'm indifferent to being in front of groups. I've talked in front of hundreds of people and done presentations and stuff. I don't mind that. I'm an introvert, but I don't have any problem with talking to people, right? I just don't particularly go out and get excited and that kind of thing. But I love getting with a small group of people that I like and I know, and talking about things that interest me. And so this show is exactly what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. So
cool.
And the thing that really kind of motivated me was to just pull the trigger was the fact that there are other shows, and there are shows that are way more well known and very popular, but the thing is, they don't really get the opportunity to dig into a specific topic because they're on rails, they've got targets they have to hit, they've got so many stories they got to go through, they got such a wide range of stuff, and really all I care about is the hardware. I don't really care about the content or who's making the content or who's sleeping with who, so now they're in charge of whatever company this week. I'm more interested in the content and, the content providers, services, and specifically hardware.
Sorry, I've been giving you lots of news stories that are outside of that domain.
But I throw you. We know we go through and the stuff that's like, do we really care about this? Nah.
Yeah. We throw things out all the time. So just a quick behind the scenes. Here's how this show essentially works. Every week, usually Tuesday, we create the document because we know we need
Tuesday?
to. Usually Wednesday morning,
like earlier today.
Yeah, usually Wednesday we create the document, and then most of the time, Clyde and I go ahead and throw in a bunch of stories that we've seen through the week. I usually claw through all of Engadget and look for all relative stories there, and we weed out stories. Believe it or not, we actually go through because we look at the number of stories of the week, and sometimes it's like, wow, there are a ton of stories going on here. We can, there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. Do we want to talk about all of it? Yes. Okay, then. And then other times we actually go through that and we actually pare things down a little bit. And you say, that's kind of outside us. That kind of can bring up something we don't really want to bring into this kind of environment. So let's go ahead and remove that. We actually do a little picking and choosing of what we want to talk about that week, and then we don't talk about anything.
And the best part is we throw out all that stuff, and we still can't keep it within an hour.
That's true.
But that's exactly what I want. I want to be able to just, we're not constrained by, 3 minutes on this story and we got to move on. No, if we need to talk about something for an hour, if it leads us down a rabbit hole that's worth exploring, or even if it's not worth exploring, but it's entertaining to somebody, even if it's only me, that's fine. Because we don't have anything specific that we have to do. There are no expectations. I think the minute that there are expectations is when the minute I'm going to be like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So if you want to hang out and listen to some guys that are talking about stuff that didn't research it, it's all opinion. All opinion. And that's great. There's too many experts.
That's true.
Towing company lines and.
We are experts at exactly one thing: our own opinions.
Yep.
Ooh.
We know them very well most of the time. Sometimes we get a little confused about them, and it comes out very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, we are very thoroughly aware of what our opinions are, and we share them openly.
Yes.
Yep.
And and to quote Craig Ferguson, if you don't like what we're saying, you have the right to go the hell away.
I don't think that's exactly what it said. Close enough.
No, and the other thing was that I had another thing. Crap. I don't remember. Whatever.
That's all right. No, so go ahead.
No, so you guys remember, like, what was it, 4 years ago, maybe a little over 4 years ago when we got this thing started. And for everybody that doesn't know, we talked just a little bit ago about, Clyde sending out the email. Anybody who's interested in starting up this podcast and all, Matt, Mike, and myself, replied, and we started meeting, right? We started having these meetings and, and deciding on what we was going to do, what was the format of the show, this kind of thing. And we even did a practice show or two, I think, something like that.
We did one that was just proof of concept, and then we did a official
episode 0.
Like episode 0.
That was never recorded, I don't think.
It was live. Well, I don't know. It was live streamed, but I don't think it was saved. I probably got it. I actually meant to go dig up the first episode. I can probably play that here later. But
but I can remember going up to the first real live show that we were going to do and all, and we'd already set the date, and it's like, we're going to do it, for real this time, and all. And leading up to that time, I was thinking to myself, holy crap, are we really going to do this? Right?
I no doubt.
And then we did, and it all turned out pretty well, and all. And, here we are 200 episodes later.
Yeah. And I will say, originally there were 7 people that responded.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why we started meeting to see, number one, from my standpoint, who's actually committed. Because I knew once you start actually we're going to meet on these times, on these days, somebody's not going to show up, and that's not going to work out. Unfortunately, Kuhan was never able to, because his schedule never synced up with ours. So Kuhan was the first one to bail. And then, huge shout out to Jackie Hearn, because she had other obligations. When we finally decided Wednesday night was going to be the night that worked for all of us, she couldn't because she was doing something else. But she provided so much help. She helped me get everything set up. She put me in touch with Sergeant Muffin to get the stream set up on Diamond Club TV. She helped me set up XSplit. And she was the one that gave me the guidance that, hey, Tom Merritt uses notes, and she provided me with stuff that I could kind of go off of to effectively plan. And it was a bummer that she couldn't be part of this full time. But going in, I knew 7 people was way too many, even 5. And then lastly was Joey. Joey dropped off right before our first episode because again he had other conflicts. But and I that being said, I knew we were gonna make it to 200, but I didn't know if all four of us were gonna make it to 200. That was the biggest surprise, that it's still all four of us after, I kind of figured that at some point somebody was going to have, other obligations or, some life.
Life's hard, guys. Life's hard.
After I watched the first episode and I saw just how old we all were compared to everybody else on the internet, I thought we probably would have at least one person expire before we got to
that was good.
I got a few more good years left yet.
I knew you wouldn't be the first to go, Jimmy.
That's probably true. Fair enough.
Yeah,
definitely the healthiest of the bunch of us.
The other thing I wanted to mention was going back to those first meetings. So surrounding those meetings, it was essentially got together and said, hey, what do we want to do? I didn't want to say this is what I want to do because I didn't, there was someone in the community that kept telling me, hey, this is your show. You just make the decisions. And I told him, no, I said, I don't want it to be my show. I want it to be our show. Everybody needs to be invested in some way because, if it's the Poodle Puncher show, then, why does anybody else need to hang around?
It's a really good show. You should watch it. It's on YouTube. He rebuilds an old hard body Nissan. It's pretty cool.
Well, there's that. I've got like 10 other episodes that are incomplete that hopefully I'll have time when it snows and I can start putting out all the stuff from the summer. But yes, but that's the thing is I didn't want it to be and I didn't want this to be a like anything else.
No. Well, one thing we decided is we needed to talk about the news, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we originally had segments.
That's right.
And we went a long time trying to keep a talking point and trying to keep the news down, and then finally realized, it's more fun just to do the roundtable.
Right. I think that one of the things that changed for me, and one of the reasons why I thought the roundtable was the right way to go, was we had already done segments on every major piece of hardware, and we had actually done one thing. I think we probably at some point need to revisit this is doing reviews of the hardware because there's been multiple iterations since then. But I bought Rokus and Fire TVs and various other devices so that we could try them out, and we subscribed to different services, and that was really actually very helpful for me. Now I'm kind of getting into one of the things we said would be a key talking point here, but when we first started, I was still on cable, right? And I didn't know exactly what I needed to be able to transition. So those segments were what allowed me to figure out what pieces of hardware and what services I needed to be able to get away from being a slave to the cable guy.
Those cable slaves, they're tied to those cables. Man, this heavy cable around my neck and how it holds me down. I am a slave to the cable man. Oh,
I just remembered, I went back and looked at the show notes to the first episode we ever did, right? And back in those days, we used to put our names by the news, right? You remember that? The article, the news article, we would put our names by it.
Who's going to read this one?
Yep.
Right.
And how well did that work?
Not
well,
great.
it was rough.
It was a little rough, but I mean, Matt's always been here. He's the one that reads the news articles, does a great job doing it, does better than the rest of us, really. Right?
So it was the one week. It was like, all right, I'm just reading them, and I just read them, and you're all like, yes, Matt, that's good, keep doing it. It's like, okay.
I
remember
there
was one
rant. If I feel a desire enough to announce a article, I'll just do it, whether it's decided or not. If it's right. Well, but yeah.
You remember there was one episode where Matt didn't show up. He had some family something going on, and he couldn't be on that episode. And it was just family. It was just the three of us, right? And we was all sitting there kind of sweating a little bit, like, holy God, who's going to do the news now, right? Yeah. And I think we decided to just kind of round robin, read the news, and it actually worked not too bad. We did cool. Okay, not as good as Matt, right?
Yeah,
but
I remember that episode though, because we it's happened a few times. Matt's done a couple of vacations and things like that, but that particular one, he told us a little bit ahead of time that he wasn't going to make it, but he went ahead and entered some articles in, so we had a full set of articles, but we got there 20 or 30 minutes early, and none of us had read any of them. So we didn't.
That's normal.
But that's a normal show. Matt doesn't actually read them until he reads them on screen too.
Well, no, I do a pre-read. I come in and I literally go over. Okay, this is a story about this. They're talking about that, and and that's really a key point. Next story, and then I dry read, knowing that. And here's the thing: when you guys are discussing the story after I've initially started, I've gone on to the next tab so I can look at it and go, okay, what am I going to say here? What am I going to say here? Okay, how can I lead into this? What kind of funny thing can I do to lead into this?
And that's the thing I really want. I want it to be more of a discussion you would have with your friends, sitting around, where you didn't all spend a week researching a topic to get together. That's called a salon. And I know it.
Stress.
What's it like when you've got a bunch of buddies that are passionate about the same thing? You sit around, you talk about whatever comes up, and leave it there.
And here's the thing: those guys at DTNS and Cord Killers, they're good at that. We applaud them, and they're amazing for that. That's not us, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's
we're experts about our opinion.
See, if you want researched data, and hard facts
with good copy being read,
Tom Merritt's got it covered.
I'm
not going to compete with him. If you want to know what just the regular, average Joe or this weirdo thinks about things for real.
Apologies to all the Joes out there.
I think one thing that I like about
I differentiated myself aside as this weirdo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were combining the two, the Joes and the weirdos, as the same.
No, I said this weirdo.
Not the same group.
Gotcha.
I apologize to all the Joes and you weirdo.
One of the things I think that works that I like so much about this is that we're all so different in our opinions and our styles and our likes, and so it's really enjoyable to get these different opinions. I mean, we're from a career, we all work in technology.
Yes, we do.
But very different fields of technology, very different specific professions in technology. And, I mean, in every respect other than that, we vary pretty significantly. Politically, education, everything's different.
Socially,
so it's and I mean, Clyde's more of a car guy than he is a computer guy. And I like building computers when Clyde would like to build a car, right? I would rather take my car to a shop and pay somebody money to do something so I don't get my hands dirty. So very different people, and it's fun to see the different perspectives. you know, I mean, like Clyde's viewing preferences are wildly different in many cases than the rest of us, but it's always fun to get those new perspectives because it introduces me to shows that I would never think to watch.
Yep.
But then I go ahead and I watch it and I enjoy it. So that's been a really great thing from the show for me. I've been exposed to a lot of things that I would otherwise have never known about.
Absolutely. Conrad Detective.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gary Busey, pet judge.
Yeah,
Pet judge. Right.
definitely would never have watched that if it wasn't for
your balloons are dropping. Wow, wow.
Whoa,
Nice.
hey, there's balloons.
Hey.
You touched on the point. This is what the point I forgot earlier. The other thing about existing shows that are out there is a lot of times you get a fanboy club where everybody on there, they're all Apple users. So anything that's not Apple, even though they try to be objective, is, not as good, or vice versa. You got all Android users, and I specifically wanted a mix of people from different different backgrounds, different tastes, to have actual compelling arguments or discussions, or
Yeah.
No, you're wrong, Clyde.
I mean,
I am never wrong.
I mean, you look at it, right? All four of us, right? I mean, Matt uses Android TV. Clyde uses Roku.
Mm-hmm.
Mike uses
Fire.
the Fire
He likes to
TV,
set his
and
living room on fire.
and I use Apple TV, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
we all through four are on
And
the
I mean,
four.
there is some overlap because I prefer. I was a fan of Android TV. I started out on Android TV, but I finally moved to Roku because there were things I couldn't get at the time on Android TV. And then, I mean, there's overlap in different places, and that's good because
One of the best things about this show and us four is that while we vary very much in our opinions and what we likes and dislikes and all that, none of us are so vehemently opposed to anybody else's opinions or points of view that we're really want to fight each other. Really, we're not angry at each other. Thank
Jimmy
goodness.
gets angry
And I
at me
appreciate it.
because I'm so vehemently opposed to anything Apple.
Oh, but no, actually, he slowly sits in his chair, his giant chair, and laughs quietly as he knows that eventually he will take over the world, and it'll be wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll come out with a comment like, Clyde will say something against Apple or something like that, and I'll say, "Oh, I think I can resist that." Right? Yeah.
That's all right. We like making, just so you know, the only reason I like making fun of Apple is because they are such an easy target, quite frankly. They make themselves easy to make fun of.
Well, they are now, right?
Yes.
Because they're
For years, you're right. They were not.
they such a big company now, right? But wasn't always true.
Okay, so guys, I've drank only like 2 tablespoons of liquid, and my ears are already hot, especially inside these things.
I was going to say your cheeks are a little red.
Well, also I'm always pink on these cameras. I don't know why, but
we need to get, by the end of the show, we need to get his face to match either my shirt or Jimmy's room.
Oh God, no, not Jimmy's room. Oh,
that's something too, right? I think we all commented on this, that everybody's background has changed over 4 years except for mine.
That's true.
No. I looked back at one of the first episodes. You started out in like a living room, I think.
I was an early change.
Yeah, I found a picture from an early, and it was, or you might have been out of town too. I was
going to say he was probably in a hotel.
Maybe.
Yeah, when we first started this show, I was still a traveling consultant. Right now, I manage a team to where I'm at home all the time.
Yeah,
right?
but the difference is we've all changed, but you're the only one that has a house that's paid off. But yeah,
and I did pay it off during this
show.
You did.
That's right. We were
Thanks
so happy to
this
support
show, he
you.
was able to pay off his house.
That's so nice. Now start helping us with other houses here, please.
Okay,
It's all right. No,
so
it's all right.
I've got a question for you guys.
Sure.
So it's been 4 years ish, last month, I guess. How are your streaming habits changed in those 4 years, as far as like platform are you using? Is it the same services? I mean,
The red-faced man can go first.
yeah, we'll start with you, Matt.
I have
Well,
a
you can still
complicated
talk.
history with if I start sounding like this. No, I have a complicated history with my television. We moved to this area and we brought our dish with us because we love dish. We were in hoppers. We liked having our giant recordings on our hard drives. We liked that. We felt that compared to a lot of the cable companies, it actually was a halfway decent deal for us. But our landlord in our place that we moved to incorrectly told us that we couldn't have a dish on the house because that was the law, which actually was not true. The law actually states that they can't prevent us from putting a dish on the house, but we didn't check the law at the time, so we ended up getting onto the local cable company, Comcast, and we tried the Xfinity for a while. And this Xfinity system felt a lot like Dish, quite frankly. It was a pretty good system. And then when we moved to this house, we brought the Xfinity with us. But by that time, we've been talking about for a while about cutting the cord and moving away from it. And we had our various streaming accounts that basically me and a couple other nearby family members would share. Maybe that's definitely a thing that happens. And so we had access to Hulu, we had access to Netflix, we had access to all those things, and we were doing a shared who's paying for what kind of thing. And but we also decided to pick up YouTube TV when it came out for $35 back in the day to move to that.
2 years ago.
I know. That allowed us to drop TV and get our cable modem, and it was just we took the good price for the good cable modems speeds, like 400 megabits per second on that. But as soon as we dropped TV and really went to that, we realized we really wanted the faster speeds. And also, cable modems limit your upload speed based on how much you are in. I was actually sometimes streaming the show, and so I needed more than the 5 megabits, 10 megabits they were giving me for that. So I said, hey, let's see if we can get faster speeds. And we qualified for gigabit, and so we got gigabit cable, and with the right deals from Xfinity, if we set it up right, we could get it with a fairly good price. It's still not great. It's still fairly expensive, but it's okay. So the good news is we've been on that for a while. The bad news is we've also picked up and tried pretty much every single service you can think of. TVS All Access, we still have that. I'm not certain if we're still paying for AT&T TV now, but I think we're not. But if we are, I need to cancel that. It was one of those came with the AT&T telephone service with a family for cheap, and then it became expensive, and I have no idea if it's still that way or not. Anyways, and we been using that for a while. Right now, we are still discussing: do we really watch YouTube TV enough? Our habits are many of our shows are on Philo. Many of our shows are on Hulu. CBS All Access has a couple of shows we're interested in when we want to, so we turn it on when we want and off when we don't. And then most of my watching TV experience most of the time is on just plain old fashioned YouTube Premium, and I've enjoyed that. And every once in a while Netflix or something like that. So,
can I just say, I think it's cute that we're at a point where YouTube Premium is good old.
Well, remember when it was YouTube Red?
Yeah, Red. Yep.
Yeah.
Bad choice.
No, I was gonna say, what's it called? Ryan Hansen's show. Everybody kept saying, "Hey, isn't your show on RedTube?" No, it's not. It's not RedTube. It's YouTube Red. It was a running joke.
For those that don't know, there is a website called RedTube. Please do not watch it. Please do not go there
You
at this
can watch
time.
it, yes, if you want. Just-
yeah. I suppose
we don't have referral links, so yeah.
Nope.
Don't use your primary browser to go there.
Incognito tab
you
isn't
need to
enough.
be like everybody else, and you go to the public library for that.
Oh, is that what they do for that? Okay.
That's the only thing keeping the public libraries in business.
Oh.
I interrupted you. Did you have anything else? Or
I mean, I've got my Plex server here. I've got my my old Plex server here, which actually I need to move around. We've been doing things like streaming things to phones and other devices. I have my old Western Digital hard drive that actually it was a wireless one. It had a Plex server built into it for trips. We've tried all the different boxes from Roku's to Androids to I tried an old Apple TV 3rd generation back when the 4th generation was out, so we could see what that was like. We've tried all the different things, and it's been pretty amazing at what we do. Now our house is primarily on Roku's, but I have my Android TV on the big screen. So
yeah, all right. Mike, you want to go?
Yeah. So I already kind of mentioned a little bit when we started this. I was using, I want to say AT&T, but I'm not positive if I had already switched over to Spectrum. But I had used AT&T and Spectrum. I probably used both early on when we first started. And my issue is that as a general rule, the TV would be on something like HGTV or Food Network most of the time. And when we actually sat down to watch stuff, it was almost always something like Netflix or whatever. Or, when we were walking by and we saw an interesting show on HGTV. We didn't really sit down and watch shows very much, except for the stuff on Netflix or movies or things like that. So it felt pretty wasteful for us to be paying a lot of money. And I think we were paying like $60 to $80 a month for cable, and then, paired with our internet. Didn't feel like we were getting our money's worth. So, but we were always leery about just like giving up and going over to streaming because, kids and whatnot, and they used a lot of stuff. My daughters were fairly young at the time. They still aren't old. My older daughter's 13 now. The change was realizing that we could get streaming services. So when we tried out all of our streaming services, we tried YouTube TV, we tried Hulu TV, we tried PlayStation TV or View, I think.
Yeah.
PlayStation View. That was the first one that I kind of got tracked on and liked it. We used that for quite a while before they kept jacking up the price, and then they just canceled, which we canceled right around then. I don't remember what happened first, if we canceled or if they just went out of business or whatever. But we ended up being very much the same thing. We just had that mostly streaming, and we watched, maybe a little bit of Fox News or something like that, just to catch something kind of newsy or, so we felt like we weren't totally out of touch with what was going on in the world. But, never really spent a lot of time on it. And so when, we switched, and eventually what we got to was, well, we really care about Boise State football, and we want to watch that every year. So really what we've done as a result of this show was we've gotten rid of all of our subscription services to cable-like things like YouTube TV or actual cable TV or whatever. And we subscribe to them during the football season. last year we used, I think, Hulu TV, and then we cancel when the football season's over. And really like that model because then we have the shows we care about, and then during the rest of the season we can figure out another way to watch anything we care about. The only things we really watch consistently are American Ninja Warrior, and then everything else is on a streaming service. The exceptions, I think, for us are that we would prefer to just buy a show if we wanted to watch it, because we could buy a season on Amazon digital and pay $30 or something like that for a whole season, and that'll entertain us for a month, because we don't watch all that much combined with what we watch on Netflix and stuff like that. So from a streaming services perspective, we have Netflix, we have wow, I gotta say there's something else, but we have Disney Plus. Yeah. So
of course.
We have Netflix and Disney Plus, and I forget about that one because we just paid for like 3 years, and then we got another year free from Verizon. So we have like 4 years of it already paid for. So we have those two services. The kids watch a lot of Disney Plus. I occasionally watch it. And then it's really just Netflix is the other thing that we watch. And we buy all of our content via Amazon generally. Occasionally we might buy something else because we have Movies Anywhere. So if it's on a Movies Anywhere platform, it still shows up on Amazon, which we love. And very happy with the model. I think we're saving probably about $50-ish a month from what we were paying before. And then, of course, we're spending that elsewhere, upgrading TVs or whatever, and buying new devices to keep things current. But that's great. And I'm currently predominantly using Fire, the Amazon ecosystem, with the Fire TV, Fire Cubes in multiple rooms, a couple of sticks. Except in my office, I have a Roku TV just because that's what was on it. And it was cheap. So I wanted a cheap 49-inch TV. And hopefully someday soon we'll buy a new TV, but we'll probably just run it with the Fire Cube. We also have YouTube Premium, but I don't think I have ever watched a show on it.
Really?
I think the only reason I know the only reason I pay for it is just so that I can get ad-free on the shows that I like to watch for the YouTubers and music videos and stuff like that.
It's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, and we get the music out of it too. So everybody in my family uses the music too. So
you should really check out, since you have YouTube Premium, you should really check out Ryan Hansen Solves Crimes on TV.
Ryan Hansen Solves Crimes on TV.
Yes. That's
all right.
Ryan Hansen YouTube Premium show it was
Yep.
really funny and super meta. I think you would get the humor. But the other thing he's been beating around the bush, the whole reason they spend so much in the Amazon ecosystem is he's trying to curry favor with Jeff Bezos and ensure a spot on the Blue Origin arc as it leaves the planet.
Well, you know.
To film when they found that Amazon colony on Titan or wherever they're going.
Should I start at episode 1?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's a very long bet, but it may pay off.
Save to watch later. It's there. I'll give it a shot. That'll be the first YouTube original show that I watch.
You didn't watch Cobra Kai?
I still haven't watched Cobra Kai.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we can talk about that stuff in the post show. Jimmy, 4 years. What's changed for you?
4 years. So when we started this thing 4 years ago, I was on Comcast or Xfinity. It's the same company, just changed names there. But I was a cable subscriber. I think my internet speed with them was 75 meg a second, maybe 100 meg a second, somewhere right along in there. Yeah. That's what it was 4 years ago.
Sad.
And I think I was paying something to the tune of about $140 a month, I think is what I was paying. And that was for the cable and the internet service, right? And then on top of that, I subscribed to Netflix. I also subscribed to Hulu, and then we're Amazon Prime subscribers, right? So I had that as well. So that was the service. So you factor $10 a month for internet, Netflix on top of that. I think another $11 a month or whatever it was for Hulu on top of that, and then the yearly subscription for Amazon Prime, right? So that's all of what I was paying. So probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about maybe 160, 170 bucks a month altogether for all that. So fast forward to today, right? Along the way, AT&T started offering fiber service in my neighborhood, and it was kind of ironic timing, right? Because I think it was something like November. Xfinity started imposing data caps on the data, right? And I remember that December we busted through the data cap, right? Of course, fortunately they just gave us a warning the first month of doing so, right? And then the very next month in that January, this was like January right after we started the show. We started the show the summer before, and this was like January after we started the show. AT&T started offering fiber service, and so I said, okay, I'm in, right? And so when I converted over to fiber, I cut the cord, right? I stopped being a cable subscriber. I really didn't know what to jump to at first, right? I think a couple of months might have went by. I was still trying to decide what service I was going to do for live television, and I think I ended up going with Hulu Live, right? And Hulu Live is pretty much what I've been with since then, right? And so we use Hulu Live for live television. We still have the Netflix. Of course, I'm a T-Mobile subscriber, so since then T-Mobile pays for my Netflix now, so I kind of get that for free, right?
Nice.
And we're still Amazon Prime subscribers. Also, too, I picked up CBS All Access, so I subscribe to that. I also subscribe to Disney Plus now, right? So I think those are my subscriptions in a nutshell. I'm thinking about maybe trying something else besides Hulu Live. Especially with the Peacock service out there now, and I already have CBS All Access, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if I have Peacock service, which is a heck of a lot less than what I would pay for Hulu Live, keep the regular Hulu, right? The $11 a month or whatever it is for the regular Hulu, but just don't do the Hulu Live because that's about $60 a month or something thereabout. And then maybe try the Peacock service. Even if I pay the $10 a month for Peacock, I'm still way less than, or a fair amount less than what I'm paying now, right? And maybe try that for a while to see how that goes, right? So that's where I'm at right now, subscription wise, platform wise. I've always been an Apple TV guy, and that's probably because back in 2003. I became a iTunes subscriber. I'd buy my music on iTunes, And yeah, these other services popped up and all. But I was like, yeah, at least at first it was a little bit of a pain to transfer over to other platforms. Although fast forward to today, it wouldn't be all that hard. It'd be quite easy actually. But I stuck with it the whole time. Actually bought the first Apple TV back in 2007, I believe it was. That was the first Apple TV. Bought the second generation. But I also bought, because back in the early days, Amazon Prime, you couldn't get that on Apple TV, right? the only way you could get it, the only way you could get it was have a Roku, right? And I was like, okay, well, and I had read a lot of good things about Roku and all, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get a Roku, and so that became my Amazon Prime device, right? And I, anytime I'd want to watch shows on Amazon Prime, such as Bosch, right, one of my favorite shows, I would fire up the Roku, and the Roku was always my secondary device. Still is, still plugged up to my TV. I still have it there, and was quite happy with the Roku. Right, I hope Roku always performed really well. Right, and today, I have the Apple TV 4K. I still have the Roku there. Apple TV on that platform, they've come a long way. I'm really starting to like the Apple TV app that's there, right?
After all these years, you're finally starting to like the Apple TV app.
The Apple TV app, finally, because it keeps track of all the shows I'm watching, everything, right? It aggregates everything except Netflix. Netflix is the holdout from there, right? But everything else I've subscribed to, it shows up in my Apple TV app, right? And I was really quite reluctant to go that route, because I enjoyed, okay, I got all my shows lined up in this app. I got all these other shows lined up in this app, for whatever service I was going to, right? It was always easy to kind of keep track of it that way. But now I've really warmed up to the Apple TV app now, and probably for the last, I don't know, year maybe, I've been doing that, and really like that now. It's really really good. So and then two, televisions, right? Let's talk a minute about television.
Oh yeah,
because that's changed since 4 years ago.
Okay, rub it in.
So 4 years ago, I had a 52-inch LCD television, high definition, and we bought that in 2008 is when we bought that television. And that's what I had when we first started this 4 years ago. And late in 2018, matter of fact, it was Black Friday 2018. The LG OLED televisions went on sale, and so I picked up a 65-inch OLED television, right? And bought that, installed it, and I have to say, especially when I'm watching HDR 4K movie or TV show or something, every time I'm looking at that picture, I'm thinking, man, I'm really glad I bought this television, because it really puts out a very good picture. Matter of fact, I even did a little video, if you guys remember, back when I bought it, right?
I remember.
And really enjoying that one still, right? Glad I bought it, and so that was really a good purchase. And now you can even get them for even less, right? So if you're looking for a good OLED television, LG makes a good one, right? And I'm sure you can get a deal on them nowadays. Probably that same 65-inch, you could probably buy it for a good $500 or less than what I paid for it. Right?
The 65 that I keep teetering on the edge of buying, that TCL, it's constantly on sale for around $450.
Right now, LG 65-inch TV.
Oh, not the OLED, just regular, just 65-inch 4K.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm talking about an OLED. You could probably get it.
I realized that after I spoke.
Did you look it up, Matt?
Oh, okay. Bringing up the OLED. Yeah, it's $1,795, $1,800. Looks like you can get one for $1,600.
So, and I think I paid like, I think before taxes, I paid like maybe $2,600 for mine, something like that. So you can get it for a good bit less than what I paid for it.
I must say, the OLED TV from LG impressed me for one reason only when I look at all of the displays. It takes the artifacting that you see, it detects it, and it automatically smooths it out. And 99% of the time, it makes an amazing picture from a crappy signal. So,
when it comes to those OLEDs, it really is a matter of preference because... Right. Like Mike and I have looked at them up close a lot at CES over the last few years. And I mean, Sony and LG and Samsung they're taking different approaches. And, the LG I think was personally my favorite, but I know there are other people that are like, nope, this one looks better.
Well, and that's something there, but before I bought this LG, I was always a Samsung guy for televisions. Mm-hmm. Right? Every television pretty much I had bought was a Samsung.
Yeah.
Right. But this was my first LG, and I have to say, very good quality. Really happy with
there were really only two options if you wanted OLED. At the time, it was just Sony with their stupid Cletus. I'm still... Yeah, that's a worse name. And then LG, because Samsung, they weren't doing OLED, they were doing their quantum dot, their QLED.
Yeah. QLED
isn't right. It's similar, but not the same. So
yeah, I would say that there's pretty clearly LG's TVs that are LED or whatever nano cell, whatever they want to call it. They're good TVs, but there's a distinct difference in quality between LG's top TV that's not OLED and Samsung's and Sony's top TVs that are not OLED, right? They're a lot better. But when you step into OLED land, it's better than anything else, far and away, and LG leads that space.
And if you go to the LG booth at CES, you can literally step into OLED land, walking through canyons made out of OLED screens. I will say I don't typically. I've had bad luck with LG TVs in the past, the lower end TVs, but I will say one of their most impressive displays is I walked up to one and it was talking about how my phone has the same exact screen that TV has. And it took me a minute to realize there were 4 of my phone embedded into the screen of that TV. You couldn't see the difference. It just blended right in until you saw the bezel. And I mean, literally the same exact screen, which is why I still love this phone. But
I mean, I use my main TV is a 55-inch LG 4K, and it's a good TV. I don't have a lot of complaints about it. I paid $680 or $700 for it. Went back 3 or 4 weeks later on Black Friday, got refunded the $150 difference between the Black Friday price and the base price. Thank you very much, Costco. Always buy your TVs at Costco.
Or Samsung.
Buy them before Black Friday, and if they go on sale, you can go and get the difference refunded. Costco is the best. And it's great. When it's in my house, in a fairly dark room, I can't complain about it, right? Like side by side, there's no question Sony's or Samsung's way better, but it looks good enough, and so I don't have a lot of complaints. I did even use the WebOS for quite a while before I got a Fire TV, and it was good enough. It worked well. It provided all of the services and the features I needed, so I was pretty happy with it. And I have a LG Plasma that's almost 15 years old, still works great. Kids use it in the bonus room. So I can't complain about LG TVs, and but from a pure quality of picture standpoint, if it's not an OLED, it's not going to be as good as what you can get with other brands.
Yeah, but for most people, it's probably good enough, which I will use as a segue over to me, because what has changed for me over the last 4 years? Not much.
Clyde's motto: I'm not as good as other people, but I'm good enough. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, the product.
No, literally, over the last 4 years, what has changed for me is not much, because I completely cut the cord back in 2010 when my cable company switched from analog to digital only, which meant, because I had business class cable, anytime they would put that filter on my line to block out the TV, it would cause problems with my internet. So they would come and they would remove it. So I got free TV for several years. It was analog. Free tier of cable was good enough for my TiVo. 2010 is when they made the switch to digital, and that's when my cable went away and I wasn't going to pay for it. So I had to figure out what to do, because in 2010 there weren't options. Netflix wasn't streaming yet. Hulu was available only on the web in your browser. I went out and I bought, and I meant to grab it, it's downstairs, I bought a Sony streaming media streamer box. Essentially, it had a couple different apps. They had their app that they'd created called Crackle, which was one of the very first streaming apps. Then they had like music through Rhapsody, I think was the one. Either Rhapsody or what's the other one that people used to use? Pandora.
Pandora, yeah.
My wife still
Basically, everything
uses that
on
one.
there was Sony based, because it was a Sony box. It was proprietary. This is pre Google TV. And the main reason I got it was because it was DLNA compliant. Anybody remember DLNA?
Mm-hmm.
So, which meant I had a Linksys NAS, the toaster, which I still have someplace. So I could rip DVDs or acquire media, put it on the NAS, and then I could finally stream it to my TV using this media box. And then Google TV came out. Netflix did the beta on the TiVo. The very first streaming platform was on the TiVo. So I got in on that beta, and that's when it was like, oh, yep, I see a future here. I don't need live TV. Anything that I do need, I could get over the air at that time to my TiVo. And then, we started this show. I was using my Android TV. I had just finally broken down and switched to Roku. I had been using my ADT1, which was the developer beta for the Android TV, which I had kind of gotten Google. I may or may not have tricked them into sending it to me as a developer. then basically, I mean, I've tried different things as they've come out. The main thing that's changed is in the last 4 years is the amount of content options. Because when we started this show, Sling TV and PlayStation Vue had just launched. They were brand new.
Right.
The big question is, does anybody want over the top? I mean, this is just cable on the internet. Do people want that? I figured out right away when we tried them out, I don't need it. I'd been without cable since, for 6 years at that point. I mean, plus before that, I was already trained by the TiVo not to watch ads. I didn't watch anything live. I watched whatever happened to be on the DVR. So, I was already programmed for watching whatever, whenever. But, the biggest thing is, after all these years, Android TV is finally getting the recognition and getting a foothold in the market. I mean, it's always been there. It's always had market share, but it's always been that thing that people just most normal people don't know about. The techie people like you and me, Matt, we use it.
Sure.
But my parents wouldn't. And that's the other thing. In the last 4 years, my parents, they cut the cord. I got them a Roku so they could try using it. And they're officially off cable. My dad can actually use the Roku. I resisted the Roku for a long time because it was that dumbed down interface, that it was the one that was popular. So I wasn't interested.
But dumbed down wins in the end.
And then I used it and I went, okay, I kind of like it. But I mean, it was just one of those things because I remember when back before the Roku device in its current iteration, you had Roku and Boxy. You could roll your own. And do you remember those days?
Yes.
Boxy was owned by Netgear, I think, or they were acquired by Netgear. They were an open source media player. You basically build a PC. I guess you could say my streaming media goes back even further. But when I was heavily involved in the Xbox modding scene, I contributed a lot to XBMC, which is now Kodi. I wasn't a technical guy, but I was good at structuring menus in a logical fashion and stuff like that. So if you use Kodi, you're welcome. But I mean, Boxy was kind of a replacement for that. So you run Myth, if you remember Myth TV.
I do.
Like that. Yeah, Boxy and Roku started out in that ecosystem, and then Netgear bought Boxy. They tried to make a production version of the Boxy box, and it didn't sell very well because the timing was wrong. At the time, people were like, there were no streaming apps.
I was this close to buying a Boxy box, right? And then I think I waited for a while and then eventually bought a Roku.
See, and that was the thing, because at the time, Roku was proprietary. So it was like, I mean, there weren't really very many apps available. So, but it was the one that all the normal people are like, ooh, I got a Roku. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to stay away from that thing. I don't want to what's that?
Looks like the Boxy Box guys, but were actually purchased by D-Link, which is probably the reason. Probably that's the reason why I went nope, because I've had experience with bad experiences.
It was one of those companies.
Yeah. One of those other companies, maybe I would have been interested in, but D-Link wouldn't touch it.
But now that you say that, Matt, I think that was the very reason why I decided against it as well.
But But yeah, I mean, now I'm still using my same 1080p plasma TV that I bought directly from Panasonic in 2009. 2008, 2009. Yeah, it was 2009. That's in the living room. That's my biggest TV. I've got a cheap 32-inch in my bedroom that is too small. It's a Hisense, but I basically turn it on to fall asleep anyway, so who cares? Yeah, nothing's changed there. I've just bought more hardware. I've tried out all the different services. I currently get HBO for free through AT&T. It was because of this show that I finally took the plunge. I was already a Hulu subscriber, but I tried ad-free for $3 a month.
Right.
And then never turned it off. Last week I was looking at my bill and I realized ad-free cost exactly the same as I'm paying for Hulu in itself. They're both $6, which is why I'm paying $12. So you get Hulu or you can pay double and get ad-free, and I didn't even hesitate. I'm not turning that off. I occasionally get Stars and Showtime. Same thing with Disney Plus. I'll probably turn it back on at some point. But I don't know when. And, and I never used Amazon until I signed up for Prime to get the video.
Right. What was the thing that got you over the hump for Amazon to watch the video? What was the show that was like, I gotta watch this?
I don't remember.
I think for me, it was actually, what's the name of the comedian, the lady comedian in the 50s, 60s? Miss Maisel, I think. No, Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
Marvelous Miss Maisel. That was like, okay, that
stuff.
looks really great. Let's watch that. And we could watch that as a family, and we enjoyed the heck out of that. So that's what pushed us over to get the Prime Video. So
yeah, for that video service for me, it was The Americans.
Okay. I don't remember. It was something that was clearly canceled. But the funny thing is, Amazon Prime is the whole reason that I left Android TV and went to Roku, is because Amazon and HBO, both of them wouldn't make a app for Android TV. They had them for the piece or for the phone, so you could sideload it, but they weren't. I didn't want to mess with that, so I just said screw it. I guess I'm going to Roku, and yeah, now I have several Rokus. I prefer the ones with Ethernet, so I use the Ultras. Previously, the 4. I have a Roku that lives in my suitcase for traveling, which comes in handy. We watched that when we're in Vegas for CES. I've got also the new Android TV, the TiVo one, which I'm currently using, and I'm liking it. It's allowing me to watch my free HBO Max now.
Yep.
Which I watch everything on HBO Max is not actually on HBO. Everything that I watch, because
nice.
HBO rarely has content I'm interested in. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So where do you think we're going to be in 4 years from now? Just say, I want anybody just.
VR,
will you think
everything.
you're? So yeah, you think you're going to do VR? We're going to do the multiple storylines thing. You think that's going to be a big thing coming up?
Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
Parts of it, yes.
Okay, so remember
I need to watch it all the way.
When he first got to the future and he went to Dude's house and met Dax Shepard's character.
Okay,
watching Owl My Balls. essentially that, except instead of a giant rear projection TV, it'll be VR headset. It'll still be the same recliner / toilet, and we will all still be on quarantine, or we'll still be not necessarily quarantined, but we'll be at home because everybody's job will realize it's not worth paying for this office space when people can just work from home. So yes, that's what I believe.
It's the 200th show, and I'm going to make a confession now. Clyde, every time you and Matt start talking about gaming or VR,
you roll your eyes.
I feel this. I feel compelled to want to say, "Hey, you kids, get off my lawn."
You should. I've been practicing that one for years. I've been waiting for kids, but no kids ever come on my lawn. I never get to yell at them. But, no, it's we're getting there slowly. Hopefully something good AR for you.
Actually, AR I think is going to be the future more so than VR.
Well,
right?
I mean, AR is out there. It's just not the AR you're looking for.
Yeah, no, not quite yet, right? I mean, my vision of AR is like, you put on glasses similar to what I have on now, and then all of a sudden you can spin up a virtual monitor right next to the monitor that you have now, right? That's my vision of AR, that kind of thing. Or if you're watching for entertainment purposes, right? If you're watching a movie or something, then you get extra content, that filters in with the movie, that kind of thing. Being able to, anywhere you go, being able to have access to the internet or content or be able to look something up, right? That's my vision of AR. And I think probably within the next 3 to 5 years, we'll probably be there, I would say.
It's usually the case where pornography drives technology.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Somebody will offer AR glasses that allow people to watch pornography while they drive. That gets AR off the ground.
Oh, jeez.
Just make sure you got seat covers on, right?
Hey, I don't want to know.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you, Jimmy. On my interest sits a little more in AR than VR, and because I see that, but my interest is similar but slightly different because I want AR. Yeah, I mean, I like when I pick up my phone. Like I've done a lot of traveling this last year for work. Well, minus the last 7 months.
You want to do Pokemon Go without your phone.
But like when I pull up my phone with Google Maps and I can see it points me the direction to go in front of me, showing me where to turn and those kinds of things. So that's AR, but it's inconvenient, right? Because it even tells you shouldn't try to use this while you're walking, which is because what good is it if you have to stop and then look? But I love the idea of having it in the glasses and being able to do that. But really, for me, it's about the games because I want to have that experience. I want to change the world around me to the world I wish it was, which has got vampires and dragons and stuff like that. And I mean, wish it was in video games, right? Like,
no, okay.
Suppose I don't literally want dragons flying around.
You want to augment your world.
I want to augment the entire world to be the fantasy world that I find more interesting.
Whereas Jimmy just wants to add
more
features,
information.
More information rather than augmenting the world. Whereas I want complete and total immersion, which is why I like the full VR set. But
And I also am super interested in that too. In fact, I am very likely going to order a VR headset here in the next couple of days, just so that I have it for Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons, when that comes out. Because I can't imagine anything more exciting than flying a spaceship in the Star Wars world and blowing up empirical TIE fighters and stuff like that.
See, I'm all for the immersion too. I just don't want to strap this thing to my head to do it. I want the Star Trek holodeck is what I want.
Yeah.
Well, it's first step. Because once they nail this down, then they can get start. Hey, for $25,000, we can take your 8x8 bedroom and in your house and convert it.
I mean, the thing about the holodeck, right? Like that doesn't work from all like in a practicality, real world perspective. That's one of the least realistic things about Star Trek, right? Like Star Trek generally follows science and technology to be semi-reasonable and realistic, extrapolated many centuries, but not the holodeck, right? Like that's insane. Holodeck works like the Matrix, right? Like if you want something like the holodecks, you gotta plug the brain in, not like walk into a room and suddenly it's going to change it. But I'm on board for that, right? Like, put a little thing in the back of my head.
No,
to the Matrix, and I'm on board. Like,
no,
up tomorrow.
Well, maybe we don't have to get that drastic, right? But you remember in Star Trek, right? They don't have binomial machines; they have trinomial machines in Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what I.
Am I the computer scientist here?
I was resisting making a very bad Yoda pun with my limited Space Wars knowledge.
Space Wars, nice reference to an old video game. That's good. No, so here's what I want. I want an immersive experience, but not an immersive experience that I have to do something solo. I want something that I can do with people around me, friends, whether it be a game kind of thing where we all can participate with our controllers or whatever, or something that we can all experience together as a group. That more important to me is that ability to have something that me and my friends and my family can feel together as a group. I want it to be an inclusive experience, and it's kind of not really found. Almost all these different solutions we're talking about are solo experiences, or if you do something multiplayer, you're solo and they have to be solo, and inside the interface it's put together one way or another, and that's fine too. But I'm still what excites me the most is the idea of having a storyline where you can watch it and you can decide what happens in the storyline, and having a cohesive story no matter which branch you take. And sometimes it goes back to the same storyline, sometimes with different endings, whatever, but something we can work with together, sit down, we're going to enjoy the story, we're going to watch this point of view, we're going to do something like that's exciting to me. I think that can actually work. I really hope that we get to see more of that in the future, and I don't think that's that hard to do. I think the hardest part is just planning it all out and making it interesting no matter what you do.
Yep.
Well, remember, if you're solo, you always have a Wookiee.
Well, not always. But I will say my least favorite thing about multiplayer is dealing with the other players.
That's why, like, I've played a lot of multiplayer games at various levels. I'm loving Avengers because it has a multiplayer mode, but I can just play co-op with my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
One other person that I actually know, actually like gaming with this person. And you know, I would be okay if I had a couple other friends that played it, and because it allows up to 4 people. But I don't like not knowing people. I don't like guilds of 50 and 100 people, really. I did like WoW and a couple of the other MMOs, and I I basically played it like a 2-player game. I played with my brother-in-law. I'd have my brother-in-law come over and sit in a computer next to me and play with me. And I would ignore everybody else in the entire world. And he would chat for me if there was like, if we'd end up in a large group, I would be like, tell him I don't like it.
See, I like right now I've been playing, I've gone back to GTA 5 online.
Oh yeah?
And
How's that going?
I really like the online version because there is stuff going on that's not controlled by the game. I just wish there was a way to turn off PvP because there is nothing more frustrating than working on something and then just have some dude drive his car off of a ramp to run me over just because, hey, there's another player there, I'm gonna kill him. And it just, but like I said, dealing with the other players, if I don't mind joining them for like co-op stuff, but I like to be solo, just do my own thing, sit there flipping cars with my ray gun, and see how long I can keep the cops at bay. But one thing I was going to point out is even in this topic, if you look, we are all in like diametrically opposed corners. There's some overlap in places, but we're all completely different in what we want.
Yep.
But, you know, I think that's a good place to leave that there. We were going to open up the lines. If you guys out there have any comments or questions, we can you can join in the Discord server. I'm throwing up the link now. If you hop in the VOD voice channel, just make sure you mute yourself. Wabbit will be calling out. He'll be moderating, calling out who's gonna join or who's up next. Yeah, comments, questions, thoughts, whatever. It's open.
Tell us we're stupid. Feel free.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we're gonna be here as long as we need to, because you know you only get 200 once. That being said, head on over there now. Before we head into that room, I just wanted to, we thanked Jackie earlier for her help getting this set up. Also, I want to thank Wabbit. Wabbit Magic has been helping us out behind the scenes for, is it about a year now? Maybe a little bit more. He's been editing and posting the videos to YouTube, which is why they are actually there every week now.
Yay!
It's not my fault. Because if stuff doesn't get done, it's usually my fault. Because I'm not wired for I doing this show has really showed me what I am not good at and where my shortcomings are. Like Brian Brushwood always talks about his difficulties with getting specific things done. I'm wired the same as him. You tell me I need to be live on video at a specific time, no problem. Just tell me where I need to be and when. I will be there. If there's a whole bunch of stuff and research and posts that need to be made beforehand, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, Wabbit, thank you. You have been a lifesaver. We're happy to consider him as officially part of the squad. One of these days we'll figure out a title for you. The other thing we want to thank is the patrons. There are people out there that have been along with us for the last 100 episodes. They have not been charged for a lot of that, and that is going to change soon. We thank you. You got the free ride. We just ask that you stick around a little bit longer. There was an introductory period of about 50, 60 episodes. But yeah, we finally got things figured out, and starting with episode 201, we are kicking this off new. Don't worry about anything that happened before 200. That's old news.
That's right.
01 and forward. So if you are new to this show or you've been here for a long time, if you like what we do, why don't you consider kicking us a buck? Patreon.com/the VOD Squad. We not a good investment. I think that's what we decided. We're definitely not a good investment, but we're better than a bad one.
Yep.
We won't cause you stress and ulcers because of your declining value in your money. You know that the money is not going to go up in value.
Your job says they've got this 401k. We all know that's a scam. You're never going to see that money. You keep that extra money you were going to put in the 401k. Throw $1 our way, and
Sure.
we'll entertain you, and we'll
No
even
problem.
thank you. That guy that's going to end up getting your 401k, do you think he's going to ever say thank you? Hell no.
Yeah.
So all of you that have been supporting us, thank you. You are awesome.
Thank you.
Again, anybody wants to hop in the voice, do it now. If not, all right, I guess we get off easy.
Yes, we do.
Jimmy,
those one. Go ahead.
Jimmy took the next 2 days off in anticipation because he's in Florida. Oh, I don't think we touched on that. We are not only are we're different in about every way, we're also located in different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Florida. I'm up north in Minnesota. Mike's down south in Texas, and you're all the way over on the West Coast. We've got the entire U.S. covered.
That's right. We are such a diverse folk.
Wabbits in Oregon.
Yeah, Wabbits is but Wabbit. We're almost the same. It's almost the same area.
Yeah,
I'm in Northern Oregon. He's in Southern Washington State. It's all cool.
Yeah. That being said, if nobody wants to join, nobody wants to hop in the voice chat. If nobody wants to hop in the voice chat, Wabbit, you're welcome. You got anything you want to chime in on?
Well, I have something that I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite segments of this show that I miss very much so.
What's that?
That would be our stream team movie draft. I have to say, when us doing that the last couple of years has been so much fun. Due to the current pandemic, we were not able to do one this year.
The reason they stopped is you guys were sick of me winning.
Yeah, that's true. You know what?
We couldn't handle all the winning.
Winter. 2 summers and a winter. I got 3 of the 4 seasons.
We had to stop you somehow, so we released the virus. Something like that, right?
Something like that. No,
is that what happened here?
I do miss movie draft. It was fun. That's a community thing, and the thing that I miss most about that though is I don't get to hear Big Voice Jay's voice.
That's
on
true.
This stream every week,
and his amazing sense of humor.
No kidding.
Yeah,
but every week I loved playing that game, but I gotta say, the highlight of every single episode was getting to listen to Big Voice Jay's rundown of it. I mean, yeah, I miss it.
Well, I mean, if you miss it, you can get your daily fix of Big Voice Jay, I think, right now. Because if you go to his Twitch page, it's twitch.com/BigVoiceJ, he does his monthly 3-hour stream of wild and wacky news leading up to the movie party. But also, starting last week, he started reading bedtime stories. Dude, you need to check out Big Voice Jay reading the bedtime stories. It is epic. Unfortunately, I missed the last couple. I randomly noticed him go live for the first one, And he did Hansel and Gretel and also the Gingerbread Man. And yes. Yep. Go out. Even if it means you're going to stop streaming or watching our stream to go watch that, totally worth it.
Very cool.
But yeah. Anything else, or should we just move on to the post show?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. That seems like
It's 100 episode 100 all over again.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Hey, I mean, this is the last time. I mean, if nobody wants to call in, that's fine. We're probably not going to do it again. So,
Come on,
That's fair.
if we do, it'll be a patron event. So
That's true.
if you want last chance to call in for free. Otherwise, we'll get on to the post show. Unless, do you guys have any rants, any raves? Do we want to do that?
I got a quick rant.
Okay. Well, no, you can't. You can't do it.
Oh.
Okay, now you can rant.
Okay, I am tired. I am tired of being slowly smoked in this barbecue. I'm getting a smoke ring in my body. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of having to wear a mask, not for COVID-19, but because of the smoke in the air. And I am tired of it, of being smokeless like I currently am. So I can't wait for the smoke to go away. That's my rant.
All right.
That's it.
I look forward to the smoke going away there too. I saw a video of Oregon City and the damage, not where you're at, right? Closer to Wabbit, but I used to live in Vancouver, and so I know that area very well, and it just startled me to see how much damage was happening so close to the city, right? Like, I was used to wildfires happening way out in the country, in the forests and stuff, but to see that it was getting in that close, and I can just imagine what's happening to, like, one of my favorite places on earth, which is the gorge. I don't know what impact it's had, but I remember looking at that, and I remember when I lived there, we would go up, when I had my own business with my friend, we would go up there almost every Friday to work, hike up into the gorge and find a pretty spot to sit and do like logo design and stuff like that. And that was one of my favorite things. So I feel for you. I hope that they get some of that under control. My rave is going to mirror last week's. Marvel Avengers, the video game, is absolutely amazing. I finished the solo campaign last night. Final mission took like 2.5 to 3 hours. It was great. Really enjoyed the game, and now I have an abundance of multiplayer content to play with my brother-in-law. It's a really good game. If you like kind of action games, it's really good and worth playing. And if you like Marvel, it's absolutely amazing. Graphics are great. Gameplay is really good. Story's fun. Definitely pick it up. And looking forward to Star Wars Squadrons. Hopefully it will hold up to the standard that Avengers set for me. So getting excited for that.
Yep. Very cool.
And haven't watched anything because anytime I've had free time, I've been playing that game.
I now that the Avengers game, is that available for Switch?
I don't think it's on the Switch. I think it's only on the next gen consoles.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic heavy, right?
Super high end.
Yeah.
Graphics.
Yeah.
I'll have to play Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 then. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
That one's on the Switch.
Jimmy, did you have anything?
Yeah, I'll just quickly mention, I think they just released the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, right? So looking forward to that one. I recently started rewatching the first season of The Mandalorian, right? and just in time, right? Because I forget when the release date is of that season 2. I think it's another month or 2 away, but anyway,
October 30th, I think.
October 30th. Okay,
think
about
so.
about a month and a half away. So so yeah, looking forward to that one, right? So I'm going to try to get caught up on the first season again, just in time for the second season there. So really looking forward to that one. That's been my favorite original show that I've seen lately, right? Is The Mandalorian.
Yeah. I will say the announcement that they made via email was super confusing because it said, watch season 2, the movie now. Or The Mandalorian, the season 2, watch the movie now. And we went, wait, did they give up on trying to make a season because of everything and then just make a movie to cover season 2? And then I had to dig and research into it and to realize, oh, this thing's only a minute long. They're calling it a movie. All right. But yeah. Oh, and I forgot to report last week. Or maybe it was within the last week. I don't know. But I finally signed up or made an account for Stadia. I haven't given them any money. I did create an account for Stadia, and it's available on Android TV. It is not available on the TiVo HD or 4K thing.
Aw.
Yeah, I was after I struggled to get my I dug my Google gamepad out of a box, got it cleaned off. It had batteries that got left in it that needed, they got all white and clumpy. So I had to do some cleaning. So it was this whole ordeal. Got my controller synced up with my Android or with my TiVo. Went to install Stadia. It's not in the store.
It also was not on my NVIDIA Shield. Remember, I have one of the older NVIDIA Shields.
And so I was like, damn it. The whole reason I was going to try it was there. And then, so I ended up trying the Steam link. It works. Not great, but it works. I was able to launch stuff from my computer. And then it would get super confused because it was stuff that should not be playing on that little dongle. So
poor little thing.
it did more better than I thought it would. But yeah, I would not try to do a Steam Link on anything that's wireless. But those are what I've got.
Very cool.
And
I need to play. I need to get on Stadia and look you up as somebody I know, and so yeah.
And you could do Marvel Avengers on Stadia, right?
Oh yeah.
So
do it on your Chromebook.
Nice.
It does require super high-end graphics, but Stadia gets you covered there. I don't think that the minor latency would be that big of an issue with this game, because it's not as fast twitch as like a first-person shooter or anything. So I think you'd be fine playing it on Stadia. I played one of the Assassin's Creed games on Stadia, and it was fine. And this is similar in concept. So
very cool.
Word. Well, guys, this has been episode 200. Congratulations. Thanks for coming along in this ride with me. I honestly hope that we can keep on going because I don't have any reason to stop. Jimmy still has wine, so I mean, we're not shutting down the stream yet, but we are going to end the official. If for those of you that are hung out with us tonight, thank you. You are the reason we do this. We appreciate it. You know, you hang out while we just talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly not even interesting, but
But we'll talk about it.
yeah, right, exactly. Essentially, we're letting you guys just watch our normal conversation.
No, we tend to keep it kind of a technology
I mean,
streaming
this episode.
subject. But
this episode, we were just having a conversation. They got to hang out.
Yeah, sure.
But if you're watching this for the first time and you're super confused and you want to know what this show is actually normally like, come back next week.
Yeah. We'll have news.
Live. Yeah, we'll have all of the news we should have talked about this week. We'll talk about next week. So it's probably going to be a really long episode next week too. But no, come join us live. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. Stick around. We'll do a little bit of post show. I was going to say we need to vote on titles, but it looks like number 2 by 100 or times 100.
Yeah, go vote.
Wins by default.
Go vote. If you vote for all of them, your vote doesn't count.
It's got exactly already. Before it gets too crazy, I'm gonna shut this down. Thanks everybody. You guys are awesome. Thanks guys. I appreciate you being around with me for 4 years. All right, that's it. Call it. Bye.
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 Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.